One morning, you button your shirt and notice it. The waistline that crept up, the tired eyes, the breath that comes a little too fast on the stairs. Your doctor mentioned metabolic syndrome, a cluster of risks quietly tightening around your heart, brain, and blood vessels. It feels invisible, yet frighteningly real. Today, we open the Pritikin Edge like a map and ask, can the small choices of 28 days begin to loosen that tightening grip? Metabolic syndrome is not a single disease, but a dangerous alliance. High blood pressure, high blood sugar, abnormal cholesterol, and excess belly fat. Each alone is a whisper. Together they shout, raising your risk of heart attack, stroke, and diabetes. The Pritikin approach does not blame willpower. Instead, it exposes the environment and habits that gently push your body toward the edge and shows how you can step back. The Pritikin program began with one man, Nathan Pritikin, facing severe heart disease. Refusing to accept a life sentence, he turned to low-fat, unprocessed food and daily movement. His lab tests changed so dramatically that physicians took notice. Today, physician Robert A. Vogel and exercise expert Paul Lehr refine that legacy into practical steps. Their message is clear. Your body is not broken. It is waiting for the right conditions to heal. 28 days sounds small in a lifetime, but in biology, it is enormous. Red blood cells turn over, insulin sensitivity can improve, and blood pressure begins to respond. The Pritikin Edge invites you to treat 4 weeks as a scientific experiment on yourself, not a punishment. Like gently turning a steering wheel, these days can redirect a car that once seemed locked on a crash course. Metabolic syndrome is like a slow-burning fire in your arteries. High blood sugar caramelizes proteins, excess fats irritate vessel walls, blood pressure pounds like a hammer. Under a microscope, your arteries are not smooth pipes, but inflamed, swollen passageways. The Pritikin Edge teaches that food can either throw water or gasoline on this fire. Every meal becomes a choice. Cool the flames or feed them. In the clinic, doctors track 5 key signs: waist circumference, blood pressure, fasting blood sugar, triglycerides, and HDL, the protective cholesterol. When 3 or more are out of range, they call it metabolic syndrome. Think of them as warning lights on a dashboard. The Pritikin program aims to dim those lights not with a miracle, but with a pattern of eating and moving that cooperates with your body's design. Always review your own numbers with your physician. For years, you may have eaten what seemed normal: white bread, sugary drinks, processed meats, and salty snacks. The standard plate in many countries is heavy in refined carbohydrates and saturated fats. The Pritikin Edge reveals how this plate rewires hunger hormones, spikes insulin, and stores fat around the abdomen. It is not a moral failure. It is biology reacting to an environment that never stops tempting you. In the Pritikin approach, your plate becomes your first prescription. Imagine food volume like a river washing through your bloodstream. When that river is full of vegetables, fruits, whole grains, and beans, it dilutes harmful fats and sugars, delivers antioxidants, and calms inflammation. Low in fat, high in fiber, and minimally processed, that is the Pritikin pattern. Before changing your diet drastically, especially with metabolic syndrome, consult your physician. Fiber is the quiet hero of the Pritikin Edge. Soluble fiber in oats, beans, and fruits forms a gentle gel in your intestines, trapping cholesterol and slowing sugar absorption. This steadies blood sugar and lowers LDL. Insoluble fiber in vegetables and whole grains acts like a broom, speeding transit and signaling fullness. Together, they help you eat more but weigh less, a powerful tool against belly fat and insulin resistance. The Pritikin plan is low in fat, especially saturated and trans fats, because they thicken the blood's fat load and stiffen arteries. But it does not claim all fat is evil. Small amounts of natural fats from nuts, seeds, and avocados can fit like gentle oil on a hinge. The key is dose and source. For metabolic syndrome, dialing down animal and processed fats is like taking heavy weights off a struggling heart. Salt is like a magnet for water in your bloodstream. Too much sodium pulls extra fluid into vessels, raising blood pressure like overfilling a garden hose. The Pritikin Edge recommends sharply limiting added salt and processed foods, letting your taste buds slowly reset. Studies show that many people can see blood pressure fall within weeks. If you take blood pressure medicine, any major salt changes should be discussed with your physician. Added sugars slip into your life through sodas, desserts, flavored yogurts, and even savory sauces. In metabolic syndrome, they are like throwing logs onto a fire already too hot. Sugar floods your bloodstream, insulin rises, and unused energy turns to fat, often right at the waist. The Pritikin Edge urges you to taste natural sweetness again. Whole fruits, sweet vegetables, the subtle sweetness of grains, rather than constant surges. Picture your daily plate as a simple formula, mostly vegetables and fruits, generous whole grains and beans, small portions of lean proteins like fish or skinless poultry, and minimal added fats and sugars. This is the Pritikin plate. It is not about tiny portions, it is about choosing foods with low calorie density but high nutrient density. You feel full while your blood sugar glides instead of spikes. Open your pantry, and you may see why your lab results look the way they do. Boxes, bags, and bottles whisper with added sugar, salt, and fat. The Pritikin Edge suggests a gentle but decisive reset. Crowd out ultra-processed foods with whole staples: oats, brown rice, beans, frozen vegetables, herbs, and spices. Your kitchen becomes a small clinic, each shelf a set of tools for healing metabolism. If food is your first prescription, movement is your second. The authors emphasize that you do not need to become an athlete. Regular, moderate activity like brisk walking acts like insulin's ally. Muscles open their doors to sugar without demanding so much insulin, easing the burden on your pancreas. Over time, this helps chip away at high blood sugar and excess fat. Any new exercise plan should be cleared with your physician first. Think of every step as a small metabolic handshake. Contracting muscles pull glucose from the bloodstream, lower insulin levels, and release chemicals that improve blood vessel function. Studies behind the Pritikin program show that even 30 minutes of brisk walking most days can significantly lower blood pressure and triglycerides. You do not need perfection, you need consistency, like watering a garden day after day. The Pritikin Edge also values resistance training, simple exercises with bands, light weights, or body weight. Muscles are like metabolic guardians. The more lean mass you maintain, the more sugar they can store safely. This improves insulin sensitivity and supports weight loss. Even 2 or 3 sessions per week can make a difference, especially as we age. Start light, listen to your body, and coordinate plans with your physician. Long hours of sitting turn your body into a parked car with the engine idling. Blood sugar stays higher, fatty acids pool, and enzymes that burn fat switch off. The Pritikin Edge highlights that even if you exercise, too much sitting still harms metabolism. Standing up, stretching, or walking a few minutes every half hour is like restarting a stalled engine. Small breaks can quietly protect your arteries. Stress is not just in your mind, it is in your hormones. Chronic stress floods your bloodstream with cortisol and adrenaline, raising blood sugar and blood pressure, inviting fat to settle around your waist. The Pritikin Edge teaches that learning to relax is not a luxury, it is metabolic therapy. Breathing exercises, gentle stretching, or mindful walks can calm the storm like lowering the volume on a blaring radio. Sleep deprivation is like running your smartphone without ever closing apps. Hormones misfire. Ghrelin, which stimulates hunger, rises. Leptin, which signals fullness, falls. Insulin resistance worsens. The Pritikin Edge underlines that 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep is not laziness but metabolic maintenance. Turning off screens, darkening your room, and creating a calm ritual are like gently pressing your body's reset button each night. When your doctor reads your blood pressure or A1C, it can feel like a verdict more than a measurement. Many people with metabolic syndrome carry shame, frustration, or fear. The Pritikin Edge invites you to see these numbers as a starting line, not a life sentence. Each new habit, an extra serving of vegetables, a short walk, a better night's sleep, is a small conversation with those numbers, asking them to move. Imagine waking up on your Pritikin-style day. You drink water instead of sugary juice. Breakfast is oatmeal topped with berries and a sprinkle of nuts, not sugary cereal. This high-fiber, low-fat start steadies your blood sugar and keeps you full. A short walk after breakfast nudges muscles awake. Already, your day is sending a different message to your metabolism. Today, we protect you, not push you. Lunchtime brings a large salad with beans, colorful vegetables, and a light vinaigrette, alongside a bowl of hearty vegetable soup. Instead of a heavy burger and fries, you feel comfortably full yet light. Fiber slows digestion, preventing the usual afternoon blood sugar crash. A brief walk or a few flights of stairs after lunch becomes your routine. You are not dieting. You are designing your biochemistry. Dinner might be grilled fish or tofu, a mound of steamed vegetables, and a serving of brown rice or barley. Dessert becomes fresh fruit, perhaps baked with cinnamon. Later, you stretch, breathe deeply, and dim screens. In the Pritikin Edge vision, evenings are not for numbing yourself, but for restoring. Bit by bit, these patterns turn metabolic syndrome from a rushing river to a stream you can wade across. The first week on the Pritikin Edge is about noticing. You track what you eat, how you move, and how you sleep without harsh judgment. You begin to remove obvious triggers, sugary drinks, fried foods, salty snacks. Like opening windows in a stuffy room, you let fresh air into your routines. It may feel awkward, but beneath the surface, hormones and blood vessels are already listening. In week 2, you lean into volume. Big salads, hearty soups, bowls of fruit, whole grains. You may be surprised that you can eat more food and still lose weight, because calorie density has dropped. The Pritikin Edge often shows people's hunger and cravings easing as blood sugar swings calm down. Many notice their belts loosening slightly. Always discuss weight changes with your physician, especially if you take medications. By week 3, regular walking feels more natural. You might add simple resistance training, wall push-ups, chair squats, light weights. The Pritikin philosophy is not no pain, no gain, but gentle, regular signals. Muscles begin to store more sugar as glycogen, making insulin's job easier. Some people see their fasting blood sugar and blood pressure numbers begin to shift. Monitoring with your physician keeps this process safe. In the 4th week, something subtle happens. You stop asking, how long must I do this? And start feeling, this is who I am becoming. The Pritikin Edge is less a diet than a new identity. Someone who nourishes, moves, and rests on purpose. Lab tests may show improvements, but the deeper change is trust. You see that your choices truly shift your metabolic destiny. Your physician becomes a partner in this unfolding story. Not every day on the Pritikin Edge feels like victory. Sometimes, as you cut back sugar and salt, food tastes dull. You may feel tired as your body withdraws from constant stimulation. This is a plot twist many do not expect. The authors remind us that taste buds and hormones adapt. Like moving from a noisy city to a quiet town, at first the silence is strange, but soon you hear birds you never noticed. Cravings can feel like enemies sabotaging your best intentions. The Pritikin Edge reframes them as messages. Sugar cravings may signal unstable blood sugar from previous meals. Salt cravings can reflect a palate used to heavy seasoning. Instead of fighting cravings with sheer willpower, you answer their message. Steadier meals, more fiber, more volume, new flavors. Over time, cravings whisper less and less loudly. Real life is full of buffets, birthday cakes, office snacks, and family traditions soaked in sugar and fat. The Pritikin Edge does not pretend these disappear. Instead, it teaches strategies. Eat a fiber-rich snack before events. Bring a healthy dish. Focus on conversation more than food. It is not about being perfect, but about navigating social landmines with awareness, so one evening does not pull you back into old patterns. Perhaps your parents or siblings have heart disease or diabetes. It may feel as if your genes have already written your future. The Pritikin Edge respects genetics, but insists that lifestyle is the hand that turns the pages. Family history is not a sentence. It is information. By taking food, movement, stress, and sleep seriously, you dialogue with your genes, often softening their harshest instructions. Many people with metabolic syndrome take medications for blood pressure, cholesterol, or blood sugar. The Pritikin Edge does not tell you to stop these. Instead, it suggests that lifestyle can sometimes make them work better or even allow reductions, always under a physician's guidance. As you change diet and activity, your doses may need adjustment to avoid low blood sugar or pressure. Regular follow-up with your physician is essential. Imagine a 52-year-old accountant working late, fueled by coffee, pastries, and takeout. His labs show high blood pressure, triglycerides, and fasting glucose. He feels decades older than he is. Following the Pritikin Edge, he commits to 28 days. Oatmeal breakfasts, walking meetings, home-cooked dinners, earlier bedtimes. Over months, his numbers quietly retreat. More important, he feels his life returning. This is not a miracle. It is physiology honored. A grandmother with metabolic syndrome dreams of playing freely with her grandchildren, but her joints ache and breath is short. Her doctor warns of rising diabetes risk. Inspired by the Pritikin Edge, she fills her cart with produce, joins a gentle walking group, and learns to season with herbs instead of salt. Step by step, she keeps her promise to herself, to be present, not just alive, for her family. The Pritikin Edge is built on small, repeatable habits: choosing water, taking stairs, adding a vegetable, going to bed on time. Each seems trivial alone, but together they are like compound interest in a bank account. Over months and years, they transform risk into resilience. For metabolic syndrome, this is especially powerful because many small risks add up to big disease. So many small changes can add up to big protection. According to data behind the Pritikin Edge, some changes appear quickly. Triglycerides and blood pressure may improve in weeks. Weight and waist circumference shift over months. Deeper changes, like artery flexibility and insulin sensitivity, build over longer periods. Knowing this timeline protects you from discouragement. If the mirror has not yet changed, your blood may quietly already be different. Confirm progress with your physician, not just with your scale. Sooner or later, progress slows. The scale stalls, numbers seem stuck. The Pritikin Edge explains that plateaus are not failure, but stabilization. Your body is adjusting to a new normal. During plateaus, the most important action is not giving up. Sometimes small tweaks, extra steps, less sodium, more sleep, restart movement. Sometimes you simply hold the line and trust. Regular check-ins with your physician help interpret these pauses wisely. Metabolic syndrome is especially dangerous for your heart. High blood pressure damages vessel linings. High triglycerides and low HDL promote plaque, and insulin resistance adds inflammation. The Pritikin Edge is, at its core, a heart protection plan. Low fat, high fiber foods, regular movement, and less stress combine to slow or sometimes partially reverse these processes. Any chest pain or shortness of breath requires immediate medical evaluation. The same factors that threaten your heart also touch your brain. High blood pressure and abnormal cholesterol can increase stroke risk. Insulin resistance may affect memory over time. The Pritikin Edge sees each walk, each salad, each night of deep sleep as an investment not only in years of life but in clarity of mind. Protecting metabolism is, in many ways, protecting the stories and faces you want to remember. Many with metabolic syndrome also develop fatty liver, a buildup of fat in liver cells. It can progress silently toward inflammation and scarring. The Pritikin Edge counters this with weight loss, less saturated fat and sugar, and more movement. These steps help the liver export fat instead of storing it. Before assuming liver improvement, ask your physician about appropriate testing and whether your lifestyle changes are working. To live the Pritikin Edge, you do not need gourmet skills. You need simple techniques: steaming instead of frying, baking instead of deep frying, sautéing with water or broth instead of oil, using herbs, garlic, lemon, and vinegar for flavor. These methods lower fat and salt while keeping satisfaction high. Your kitchen becomes a quiet laboratory where you test which flavors your healing body loves most. At the market, the Pritikin Edge teaches you to shop the perimeter: produce, whole grains, lean proteins. The middle aisles, full of boxes and cans, require careful label reading. Look for short ingredient lists, low sodium, no trans fat, and minimal added sugar. Think of your cart as a preview of your next lab results. What you roll to the cashier is what you roll into your bloodstream in the weeks ahead. Restaurant menus can feel like obstacle courses for metabolic health. The Pritikin Edge suggests simple rules. Choose grilled, baked, or steamed over fried. Ask for sauces and dressings on the side. Double the vegetables. Skip sugary drinks. You can even politely request less salt. Remember, you are a customer, not a victim. Each restaurant choice is a chance to practice your new identity in the real world. In the rush of life, we often eat with our eyes on screens and minds elsewhere. The Pritikin Edge encourages mindful eating, sitting down, breathing, noticing colors and textures, chewing slowly. This simple presence lets fullness signals reach the brain in time, preventing overeating. It transforms meals from automatic refueling into a relationship with your own body's needs, especially important when rewiring metabolism. Change is easier when you are not the only one swimming upstream. The Pritikin Edge centers often bring people together. At home, you can create your own circle, family, friends, online groups, share meals, recipes, walking dates. When one person is tired, another can encourage. Support turns lifestyle from a lonely project into a shared culture, lowering the emotional weight of metabolic syndrome. There will be days when old habits surge back, a binge, a week of no exercise, late night snacking. The Pritikin Edge views these not as catastrophes, but as information. Instead of, I failed, you ask, what triggered this? How can I prepare differently next time? You return to your patterns the next meal, the next day. Healing metabolism is not a straight line, it is a dance with steps backward and forward. As weeks become months, your body speaks a different language. You may notice clearer mornings, fewer afternoon crashes, calmer moods, and deeper sleep. Clothes feel looser, stairs feel easier. The Pritikin Edge calls these non-scale victories, the quiet confirmations that your metabolism is responding. Share these observations with your physician. Together, you can adjust goals and celebrate progress that numbers alone cannot capture. You do not need to copy every detail in the book to benefit. The Pritikin Edge invites you to create your own plan. Which breakfasts keep you steady? Which forms of movement fit your joints and schedule? Which stress tools actually calm you? With your physician's guidance, you design a pattern that honors the principles: low fat, high fiber, active, well rested, yet fits the contours of your real life. Metabolic syndrome can feel like standing on a cliff, wind pushing from behind. The Pritikin Edge does not promise you can fly. It shows you how to step back, one meal, one walk, one night of sleep at a time. Your body is not your enemy. It is your lifelong companion, eager to heal when you give it a chance. If this journey resonated with you, please subscribe, like this video, and start one concrete change today. For any medical decisions, always consult your physician.